Good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for taking the time to come out as California, along with our federal and local partners, kick off Wildfire Awareness Week here in 2018. And it seems almost a misnomer to say we're kicking off fire season here in California, or really anywhere around the western United States, because in reality, we haven't ever left fire season. We continue to have fires and activities throughout the entire year. But this week, today, kicks off really our public awareness and opportunity to get our message out, as we do every year, as to how critical fire season is in California. And as the weather warms and vegetation, the grass dries, we are going to see more and more fires across the state. So I'd like to kick off today's event with a presentation from General David Baldwin, California's Adjutant General for the California National Guard, and a very, very close partner to us. General Baldwin.
Thanks, Chief. California National Guard has begun preparation for this fire season, as we always do. We've trained all of our helicopter crews to do water bucket operations and to be able to fly firefighters in when either CAL FIRE, United States Forest Service, or any of our other interagency partners need help. Our air tanker crews have completed their training. We did the national training here at former McClellan Air Base just a few weeks ago. We've identified hundreds of guardsmen that will become available if necessary, that we will train and deploy as firefighting hand crews. In addition, we're beginning to leverage our high-tech capability with satellite-based systems and manned and unmanned aerial platforms that can assist with fire mapping and real-time information to help the incident commanders get the fires out fast. When the call comes, the Guard will be ready to respond. And I'll be followed by Director Mark Gillatucci, who runs California's Office of Emergency Services.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Mark Gillatucci, Governor Brown's Director of Emergency Services. You know, little did we realize when we stood here last year at the same event that we would end up experiencing the most disturbing and destructive and deadly fire season in California history. Starting out in October 8th of last year and ending in January, just 3 months, we lost close to 11,000 homes and businesses and over 60 lives. And that was in addition to all of the fires leading up to the October 8th start of that siege, where we lost a lot of homes along the Sierra Front Range. Throughout that process, we moved through our mutual aid system more than 12,000 firefighters, 500 law enforcement personnel. More than 12 states contributed fire assets to California and one country. We have to ask ourselves, what can we do better? How can we be better prepared? It's absolutely critical that you know the threat, where you live, and prepare for it, and have good defensible space, and try to buy down the threat that exists in your community. You need to have a plan, both a family and a business plan, and you need to exercise that plan. You need to listen to warnings and orders if a fire should occur, and evacuate if you're told to evacuate. Don't wait. Practice, ready, set, go. And continually prepare your friends and your family to this real threat that exists in California. One area that government is looking at and working on is enhancing our state's alert and warning procedures. This was came out of the fires from last year. It is a shared responsibility of local, state, and federal government, but also of each of the individuals and citizens of California to participate in that alert and warning. We're also enhancing and improving our mutual aid capabilities throughout the state through better situational awareness and enhancing resource capability to ensure that we can continually respond to these very, very catastrophic events. All of this for events that we know will occur. As Chief Pemlott said, we're already not out of fire season. Therefore, it is so imperative that you take this seriously and be prepared. Have a plan. listen to authority, and practice ready, set, go. Thank you. Next, I'm going to introduce Bob Baird, the Director of Fire and Aviation Management, Region 5, U.S. Forest Service, and one of our great partners.
Good morning. My name is Robert Baird. I'm the Director of Fire and Aviation for the Forest Service for the Pacific Southwest region that encompasses California and the Pacific Islands. The federal government manages around 20 million acres in California on 18 national forests. We don't do this alone. We manage it in a complex system of interagency cooperation of the people you see here. Last year was a record year of destruction and loss from the wildfires in California. There were 644,000 acres burned on National Forest System, which is nearly double our 10-year average. It was marked by loss of life, loss of property, and loss of critical watersheds that's important to the long-term health of California's natural water system that we rely on. There was also a great deal of heroism, not only everyday heroism in the places like Ventura and the North Bay during those fires. David Dahlberg from the Los Padres National Forest helped save 58 children and 24 members of the staff during who were entrapped at the Circle V Ranch in the Whittier fire in July of 2017. He was recognized at the State of the Union address. We've continued to work to manage the natural resources and prepare for the season. We've already exceeded our record for the number of prescribed acres burned of good fire on the landscape to help remove that fuel, and we're continuing to cooperate as we prepare for this next season. It's important that we acknowledge that in addition, while we have had some humidity, there's still over 129 million dead trees in the nation's forests that are here in California, and this multi-year drought has caused us to have to deal with that in unique ways. We've put over $84 million over the last 2 years to deal with those dead and dying trees. We right now, as Chief Pimlott said, we're already in fire season. We have over 170 firefighters that are supporting Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas as they're continuing to burn. What the federal government can do is draw on resources from outside of California to assist us when we're tapped in fire season here, and that's a key part that we play in this interagency system. We expect to stand ready to respond with our CAL FIRE partners, Cal OES, local government, and the volunteer firefighting resources in California. And we stand ready for this fire season. I'll be followed by Secretary Laird, John Laird, the Secretary for Natural Resources for the state of California.
Thank you very much. 1 year ago today, we were standing right here, and we told everyone that you had to have a plan, you had to have defensible space. We probably should have said, make sure your fire insurance is current. But we went through a number of tips, and then we saw in October exactly how every single one of those came into play in real time. And this year, we have had 300 more fire starts already than we had last year at this time. We had less rain this season than we had going into the last season. And particularly in Southern California, there was not a lot of rain near the seasonal normal. So we need to be as prepared as we were last year or more heading into this year. And as was said, we still have 129 million trees that have died in California over the drought and the time since then. We are in a permanent fire season, and we are increasingly in a more permanent state of drought. So we at the state have changed our budget to this new normal. So we don't think that it's just an average of 5 years. We're putting it out there knowing that that's the way it's going to be every year. And with the climate changing and causing some of these new situations, we have to be more ready. So with more starts this year, with less rain than last year, with the fires that we just had, we have to send a signal across California to be ready and to do everything. Since 95% of fires are human caused, we have to be ready heading into this season to do the right thing. glad you're all here today. And Chief Pimlott is going to come up and supervise questions.
Thank you, Secretary Laird. I think you've heard from everybody here very loud and very clear. The relationship, the partnership between all the fire service and resource agencies, state, local, and federal, is unparalleled anywhere in the country. We have a seamless program of operations that goes on year-round, whether we're relying on National Guard hand crews or helicopters, or relying on Cal OES fire engines, or the massive mutual aid system from our local government partners that Director Ghilarducci talked about. Our federal partners, not just the Forest Service, but all of the federal forest agencies, Bureau of Land Management, National Park Service, and others, we're all part of this same effort that's coordinated every day across California. We're preparing, we're bringing our resources online. Much of the activity you see behind you here on the tarmac are our aircraft finishing their proficiency and getting ready to deploy out. We're bringing firefighters on as we speak, and we're opening air attack bases and fire stations around the state. We've had resources staffed all winter, and when the firefighters aren't training and preparing for the response, they are out actively conducting defensible space inspections, meeting with every homeowner to talk about what you can do as homeowners to ensure you have that appropriate clearance that was talked about here today. They are also out conducting prescribed burns. Over the next month, you will see significant media and activity as we get into a window of opportunity to go out and burn vegetation under our terms in a prescription so that we can reduce these critical fuel loadings down to manageable fire intensities. So when a fire does occur, it won't burn with the intensities that we have seen the last several years. This is going to be a long process. It's going to put some smoke in the air, but it is much less smoke and much less impactful to the air than these mega fires that we're having every year, which not only impact and destroy our resource, but significantly impact health and human life. So we're bringing the firefighters, we're bringing the tools and resources. We need every member of the public to bring your game. As you heard about, bring your plan. What are you going to do to prepare yourself and your family so you're ready? So if a fire occurs like it occurred in the North Bay or the Thomas Fire in Ventura, you're prepared, you know what to do, and you can take safe action to evacuate ahead of the fire. So with that, before we go to questions and answers, I'd like to invite up Jeff Guevara, our manager here from DynCorp.
On behalf of DynCorp International, I would like to present our 7th consecutive FAA Diamond Award of Excellence for Aviation Maintenance to Chief Pimlott and CAL FIRE. It's an honor for DynCorp International to support CAL FIRE and all the firefighters on the ground, and we hope to continue for many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Very proud of this. The men and women that work here at our aviation facility and across the state are who keep our planes flying every day to ensure, one, they can protect the public in the time of need, but also ensure our aircraft are, bar none, the best aircraft maintained fleet, providing public safety and aerial firefighting. So I'm very proud of all the men and women who work here to serve the public every day. Thank you very much, Jeff.